Emergency response activated as flood waters inundate northern communities. Belize's northern region battling floods. Government warns of potential disease outbreaks. Figueroa and Aragon divorce. Shine Barrow and endorse Tracy Panton as interim leader of the UDP. And consumer prices in Belize soar by 2.6% in September 2024. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, October 31st, 2024. Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. Insistent rains over the past few days have impacted the entire country, and there are reports of flooding from a number of communities, including the Albion Island here in the north. These villages, which make up the Albion Island, which includes San Antonio, San Roman, and Santa Cruz, are historically known to flood during the rainy season. And this year, the bad weather has created a bad situation for the residents of these areas. For several days, flood waters in these villages have been on the rise, giving the need for the BDF to step in to transport residents, particularly students, in and out of the villages. Today, NEMO Minister Andrew Perez joined the Prime Minister and Area Representative Honorable Ramon Cervantes on a tour of these communities. With water levels extremely high, accessing these villages required doing so on top of a BDF truck in San Roman, and in the case of San Antonio, a skiff.
Well, the water continues rising. So, I've been coming here, every day from like 5, 6 in the morning. And if up to yesterday, the BDF trucks could pass, easily from the other side to here to San Antonio village. But this morning it was too high, and so the water keeps rising. Thanks to them, to NEMO and the BDF, they deployed a lanchon, a skiff, so as to help the people cross. And then we also have the private canoes and small boats that take people across. Then the buses are waiting on the other side, and they take the people to work. So that has been working. One of the challenges is the very early morning runs where people have to catch a 5:30 bus. It's a bit challenging, and that's what we're trying to sort out. But the situation is that the water keeps rising. We don't know to what limit, but I have seen it. I think when it was Mitch that came, and I think Chantal, I've seen this water very, very, very high, even above us where we are standing right now. So God forbid it reaches those levels, but it keeps rising. That is the situation.
The extreme floodings, according to NEMO Minister Honorable Andre Perez, highlights the very real threat of climate change and the need for Belize to adapt accordingly.
Certainly, I think I want to start off first by saying that yes, indeed, I received the call from Minister Monchi, but at the same time that we have been discussing, and of course the NEMO director, the National Emergency Coordinator, is here traveling with me today. Of course, we have been keeping everybody abreast of what is unfolding, and we saw the need immediately that we need to come in and take a look. I'm accompanied as well not only by the NEC but the entire team from NEMO department. They have a crew right now in Douglas doing some reconnaissance. We have some equipment there that can do something over the air so we can assess it. We certainly are putting it all together to make a report, of course, and we need to do it urgently, and that's the most important that we recognize here as with Minister Cervantes. I think I want to share very important the extreme. 2024 has been an extraordinary year. I've seen in the month of April, May, the other side of climate change. The extreme drought, and during that extreme drought, we saw the fires that erupted in the Toledo district and the Cairo district. Now here we are 6 months later, and we're in a reverse, where we are in desperate need of water 6 months, and now here is a run of water. So that's a big message here we're doing. First of all, the most important thing is the government is committed to working together. As Minister Monchi rightfully replaced, we have to recognize the different departments. We have to recognize the BDF, MIDH, and of course the NEMO department, all working together, engaged. So it's not only about coming here to look at it. We have to go back to make that work, find those affected people, and to work with them. We're heading shortly to the area of Douglas, and we're going to Santa Cruz first. But lessons learned, that is what we need to experience, what we need to do. We need to build resilience. How can we do this? This is not going to change. Although it's an extraordinary year, we will not be surprised if this is occurring, because it's happening more often. So we have to prepare for those plans. We have to plan now for preventive measures, what we can do to do it better, to whenever it comes next year, what can we do? And that is the work of NEMO, to reach out and carry out those recommendations. And certainly with this government, with very keen ears, we will implement.
With Belize forecasted to receive up to 2 inches of additional rainfall over the weekend, the already dire situation is expected to get even worse in the coming days.
We will continue to do the work, because that is one thing what the government is doing. The different departments, the Coast Guard, not the Coast Guard, the BDF and MIDH, we're doing the runs providing, because we just got information. We have about 20 students from the San Roman area that go to school. So we are providing that type of transportation we're doing. Certainly, in terms of supplies, we have strategically located different areas. Especially, we have one here in San Juan that has supplies there, so we're assessing right now quickly so that we can provide that supplies. I can tell you that the department is very much organized. They experienced people that know that we have everything in place, especially the data that we have there. So we know that when we move, we can activate, we can implement, we can provide supplies quickly. And that's what is the game that we're doing here today, to visit, to really do that assessment, so that at the end of the day, when we go back home, we're doing all of this work, engaging with Minister Cervantes and the different areas that are affected as well.
Here's a revised version of the sentence for clarity and flow. While most of the water is gathered on the access roads, what we observed today, particularly in San Antonio Village, was that water had already entered some homes, while in other instances it was just a few inches from entering the doorways.
In terms of the residents, are they being affected directly, their homes being affected by the flooding, or is it mainly just the roads?
In San Antonio, yes, the homes are being affected on the riverbank. The homes that are on the other side of the street, because there's only one house is on the actual riverbank, but on the other side of the street also they are being affected on both sides of the north side and the south side, and very intensely. We just saw a house that's maybe the house is high, is like the floor is about 4 feet over the ground, and it only has like 1 foot left for it to get into the house. So those are being affected, and that's here. San Roman, we didn't see much, but because maybe it's just higher, or maybe they just have lower lands on the other side of the river. So here in San Antonio is where they are most affected, where homes and families are being most affected.
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, we have been in operation since before Tropical Storm Nadine. So the operations up in the north have not stopped really. So they have only changed, and so we have been coordinating the support to all of the affected communities. So what you see out here today is the result of that coordination, our ability to ensure that we're able to mobilize resources to assist any affected community. So we have gone from the BDF driving across to providing boat services, and so we will continue to do this as long as necessary in this village and any other village that is being affected. What I can tell you is that if there is a need to open shelters, those will be opened as necessary, and the assessments will be conducted on persons who were affected to ensure that they receive assistance.
Across the country, there are flooding reported in all major bodies of water, including the Rio Hondo and New River in the north, the Mopan and Macal River in the west, the Belize River along with the Saboon and the Southern Lagoon in the south are all experiencing severe flooding over the past few days. Prime Minister John Briceño was also in San Antonio Village today along with Health Minister Kevin Bernard. After seeing the situation on the ground and dialoguing with Ministers Cervantes and Perez, PM Briceño says his government is prepared to offer any necessary support to ensure that residents of these affected communities can maintain as much normalcy in their day-to-day lives as possible.
We're out here taking a look at the different areas. Right now I'm going to Blue Creek. I'm hoping that tomorrow I go into the Belize River Valley along with Minister Perez. And I need to acknowledge the work that he is doing, Mr. Carballo and his team, Homer and all of them, in trying to assist the people that are being affected. The air rep again here, Monchi, is working out with the people with these small canoes to be able to sign a contract with them so that they could be moving people every day in and out of the village. But before we do that, the BDF, NEMO is going to get life jackets for them because we cannot allow to be people riding these boats without a life jacket. God forbid something happens and that you have a loss of life. So there's a lot of things that we have to be doing, and we're doing our best. We're here to be able to try to see how best we could help the Belizean people.
Echoing the words of Minister Perez, PM Briceño says his government is looking at the long-term sustainability of our country amidst the ongoing threats of climate change.
Well, certainly your heart goes out to the people that are being affected, but every year this happens, and I think that our people have to be more realistic. Climate change upon us. We're having more rain and stronger rains. So obviously these floodings are not going to stop. So I think that there are a number of things that I think that as a government we need to take a hard look for the long term. For instance, right now I was talking to the representative about the riverbanks, that probably we need to declare all of the riverbanks as a reserve so that we could prevent people from building too close to the river. When it's not raining, it's beautiful and you want to live by the river, but look at what's happening. And this is going to happen every year and it's going to get worse.
Also being majorly affected by floodings here in the north are residents of Douglas, which is traditionally known to be extremely flood prone. At this time, the entire village has been declared a health hazard and residents are being evacuated in the next few days, according to Prime Minister John Briceño.
Unfortunately, we're told that this weekend we expect probably another 2 to 3 inches of rain in the entire country. So this is not going to stop. Douglas, I remember from the time when my father was a representative in 1974 to 1984. It was during his time, I think it's around 1976, that the flooding was so bad that they set up Nuevo San Juan, so that everybody should have moved to Nuevo San Juan. Many moved, but a lot stayed. And some of them that moved sold their land in the Nuevo San Juan and came back to Douglas. Every year, we're spending an inordinate amount of monies and effort to try to help. As it is right now, we're looking at declaring Douglas, that the health department should declare it a health hazard. And so that because of the pit latrines, there are many pit latrines are underwater, so all of that water is coming out and people can get sick. So we are again working with the representative, with Monchi, be fixing the community center in San Pablo between today and tomorrow so that by Saturday they could move everybody out there.
In the long term, PM Briceño says government may need to consider buying lands in Douglas and permanently relocate its residents to higher grounds.
But again, speaking with the rep, thinking long term, certainly in our next government, God willing, we may need to buy out all of these people and give them land somewhere else, and so then we can just shut down Douglas Village, and then so that then people can go there for recreational purposes, but not to live, because every year we have the same problem over and over and over. And they expect the government to help them. It's not fair to the Belizean taxpayers to be able to every year to go and bail out, although we have to help them. We're citizens. So we have to start to think about long term. And this is one of the things we're talking about adaptability. We have to adapt to the reality of today.
Belize is currently grappling with extensive rainfall that has caused significant disruptions across the various sectors, including commerce, education, and day-to-day work. The flooding, particularly alarming in the northern regions of the country, raises serious public health concerns related to the potential outbreak of water and vector-borne diseases such as cholera and malaria. The situation is dire, with the Minister of Health and Wellness closely monitoring the impacts of the severe weather on public health.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke a lot about climate change and the impact that climate change has on health, on clean water, on sustainable food supplies. All these things are impacted by flooding, by any shocks or any major weather events. We're working directly with the village councils, the town councils, the city council to ensure that people have access to clean water, and that people, especially in the villages up north that are flooding at this time, that people have access to chlorine tablets and to the ability to ensure that the water that they're drinking is clean. So we are doing a lot of health education and health promotion in these areas.
With Belize's National Meteorological Service forecasting additional rainfall tomorrow, which could intensify over the weekend, the urgency of the situation is becoming more pronounced. The government is urging residents in affected areas to take necessary precautions, including preventing standing water accumulation around homes and maintaining hygiene to mitigate the risk of waterborne diseases. Former United Democratic Party UDP representatives Omar Figueroa and Elodio Aragon Jr. have expressed their strong support for Tracy Panton to assume the role of interim leader of the party alongside their respective delegates. This morning, both Figueroa and Aragon submitted letters to leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, outlining their endorsement. In his letter, Figueroa highlighted concerns raised within the Kaya North executive regarding the party's current leadership, which they believe has impeded progress since November 2020 elections. Figueroa sees communication emphasize ongoing internal struggles within the party and underscored the urgency for a united effort to restore stability. He called upon Panton to step into the position of interim leader and stressed the necessity for collaboration among the party's 31 constituencies to facilitate a permanent solution. We join the call from delegates displayed on October 28, 2024. Through this medium, we recognize Honorable Tracy Panton as the interim leader, Figueroa asserted in his letter. In alignment with Figueroa's sentiments, Aragon also submitted a letter expressing similar support. Delegates from the Orange Walk East constituency echoed this decision after thorough discussions, concluding that Panton is the most suitable candidate to guide the UDP in the lead up to the next general election. At this time, we believe that Tracy Panton is the leader who can best serve the UDP and spearhead the charge into the next general elections, Aragon stated. As the party navigates these leadership challenges, the endorsement of Panton signals more trouble for Barrow. Coming up next, health care leaders unite in Belize City for 21st BMDA Annual Congress. Stay tuned.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, Dad.
What's with all the police everywhere? I'm not supposed to tell. You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around chopping people up? The feds heard that he's gonna be here today. So they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap. They're watching all the exits, they're checking everyone that leaves. There's no way to get out of here. I've never felt this before. I feel out of control.
We've left. Where should I put her?
Thank you.
This individual that we're searching for won't panic. He's realized he can't get out. He's going to try to cause chaos.
Dad, what are you doing? You're acting weird.
This dude is next level insane.
What's happening?
I think you're looking for me.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry.
How you all doing? You having fun?
Come closer.
What's going on, Daddy?
Open the goddamn door!
I can't get away. I can't stop. I'll just do this one last one.
Enjoy the rest of the concert.
Medical and dental professionals from across Belize and neighboring countries convened today in Belize City for the 41st Annual Congress of the Belize Medical and Dental Association, BMDA. This year's event, which brings together officers from the medical community, features presentations and discussions aimed at improving the delivery of quality healthcare services in Belize. Dr. Perlita Aldana, president of the BMDA, emphasized the importance of this year's gathering during her opening remarks.
There are different modules or educational sessions, no? The first one that we have this morning is focus on climate change, and we will have some later this evening on mental health. We also have on HIV, palliative care, for cancer patients, and also diseases that affect or are transmitted through vectors. Malaria, we will have later today or tomorrow. We are supposed to be having those topics. As I said before, we're trying to focus on things that are affecting us directly, because we need to have our doctors informed and prepared so that they can better give back to the community. The booths are our sponsors. We have quite a number of them. I think it's about 15 of them that we have. And they come, they display what they have in the country, and some of them display new things that they're bringing in so that we doctors can be aware of the products that they have. So that is what they come to do, and also, of course, to educate us in the products that they're bringing. No? Some of them have speakers presenting at the Congress as well.
Of the day was a compelling presentation by Dr. Russell Manzanero, an epidemiologist with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, who addressed the current state of HIV in Belize. Dr. Manzanero revealed concerning statistics, noting that the Belize and Stan Creek districts currently have the highest rates of new infections, primarily among young adults.
We keep seeing that these numbers are not, we see new cases. For example, we have 203 new cases in the past year. I'm talking about 2023, right? So for that time, we're seeing that the same areas are being affected again. We're seeing the Belize district, the Stan Creek district, the Cayo district. When you look at it at rates, perhaps the two districts that are the most affected are those in the Belize and the Stan Creek district, actually. So we're seeing those cases. Apart from that, of course, we're seeing deaths. We're still having the deaths within HIV-related deaths. We have 78 deaths for 2023. Alarmingly, globally, when you look at the picture and you're looking at this 95 trend, you're looking at those people who would be on treatment and those who are virally suppressed. We're looking at those people who should be not dying. So for us in Belize, it's different though. We're seeing that those number of deaths is still the same. We're still having individuals dying from HIV. Regionally, when you're looking at Caribbean and globally, those numbers are on a decrease. Alarmingly for us in Belize, it is still present. We're still seeing people dying from HIV. So that's one of the concerns that we're having. Granted that we have these deaths, so, and we're seeing that, we should start seeing a change in the number of cases. Individuals will be living longer, individuals will be healthier because of the new medications that we have brought into the health system. We do have newer medications that have been approved by WHO, so most of the individuals who are on treatment right now have now transitioned to that newer regimen. What we have seen is that they're becoming more virally suppressed, which is a good news. So we're seeing that the level of virus is low. Remember, what we want to get here is U equals U. If there is not undetectable, it's untransmissible. So that's the goal, that we want our individuals to be at that. So once we could get them virally suppressed on these medications, then we know that that's the goal of the ministry and the entire response. The number of individuals that we estimate who are living in Belize with HIV is around 3,700. Of those, we have around 80% knowing their status. And of course, we have around 60% that are actually on treatment. However, the goal is to have those ones who are on treatment to actually be virally suppressed, and those numbers are still quite low. We're still at 30–40%, so the numbers are not reaching our target. Remember, the target is 95%. We're still around that one, so we have a lot of work to do.
Congress also featured a discussion led by Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, Director of Public Health and Wellness, who addressed pressing public health issues, including malaria, diabetes, and cancer.
Yes, well, this has been a work for over 5 years, because in order to be identified as elimination of malaria, you've had to have had at least 3 consecutive years with no malaria in country. So the assessment, it's not just about eliminating these diseases, but it's also to sustain these practices. So continuous testing, training of our healthcare workers, including our vector control officers, our environmental health officers, our community health workers, primary care coordinators. The entire cadre must be trained and must be able to think about malaria in order to test for it. Yes, well, a lot of our public health programs and projects are aimed at reducing NCDs, which are non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases remain in the top 5 for morbidity and mortality in Belize for 5 consecutive years. So this includes diabetes, deaths from hypertension, cardiovascular disease, cancer. So these are areas that we need to ensure that we put priority in. And we're doing a number of programs. Like I mentioned, we're trying to start with the students as young as preschool. We've been going into and giving health education and talks, and doing a little bit more than that. We're working with the Ministry of Education, we're working with the Ministry of Agriculture, with PAHO, with UNICEF. So it is a collective collaboration that we're working on to reduce the NCDs, namely obesity, which can lead to these diseases. It has remained pretty much constant for the last 5 years. The NCDs are in the top 5, as I said. It might be 3 or 4, but it remains pretty much constant. So we know that there's a lot of work that we have to do. Launching the Love Your Heart campaign as well, that has been very instrumental in helping to get people moving, get people walking. And we're offering free exercise, yoga, and dance classes in Orange Walk and in Belmopan on a regular basis. So these things are helping people to come out and to get moving. It helps with the cardiovascular aspects, and it helps with your fitness and mental health.
With the Congress set to continue tomorrow, attendees anticipate more informative presentations from invited experts from Mexico and Guatemala, aiming to further enhance the collaborative network among healthcare providers across Central America. Marching bands across Belize have been stepping up their game, intensifying their presentations, drills, and the energetic beats of their drums, all vying for the prestigious title of Belize's best. This competitive spirit is spotlighted in recent accolades won by the Ambassadors Marching Band from Escuela Secundaria Técnica Mexico. The talented ensemble made waves over the weekend by traveling to La Ceiba, Honduras, to take part in the renowned International Betel Championship. Their hard work and dedication paid off as they returned home victorious, clinching first place in the choreography category. Following their return, the band's members, along with their director, Omer Charlie, appeared on the morning show Despierta Belize, where they reflected on their rewarding experience.
They had a marching category, they had a hybrid category. The marching was for bands that would play only march style, like marching music, pops and so. The hybrid was if you wanted to make salsa with cumbia and so on. But we didn't play that style of music. And so we entered the marching. Now, in that marching, so the marching and the hybrid overall for all the bands, like 18 bands, there was a category for best trumpet player, best snare, cajas, what they call snare, mellophone, the best trumpet, and then they had woodwinds, and then the best visual, which we know. We Belizeans, well, bands who go to Bandfest know it as best choreographed band.
Choreography, right.
Had to do with the dancers, with the overall look of it, the steps and all of that.
Okay, and so you won. Which one did you win?
The visual.
The visual, the choreography,
that's
part.
the one that
wow. Okay. And what song did you all play for that one there, or it was a mixture?
It was a mixture. To me, it's general. It's overall. We tried to play music, difficult music. One of the things that we have been doing lately is, for years as band director, sometimes we arrange the songs. You know, we as Belizeans have certain training. I mean, with Alice, so much things that I need to learn, but we started to buy arrangements now that other bands do. Bands from the US or bands from Europe that they would play. So we bought arrangements, and so we had the students read those arrangements. That was one of the most difficult things. That for those people who play with instruments, and music teachers should know what I'm talking about.
With their eyes set on the future, the Ambassadors Marching Band has announced plans to return even stronger for the third edition of the International Betel Championship in 2025. They aspire not only to maintain their reputation, but to push the boundaries of their artistic expression and excellence.
I play the trumpet.
The trumpet.
Okay.
You play the trumpet.
Well, it feels great. I also have my partner with me, Jessie. She plays trumpet with me. She's a great musician. I always admire her. She's my section leader, and I always aim to be like her. She's great.
All right.
And it feels great having someone to be there with you.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Cobb, how has the experience been like for you?
Well,
how long have you been with the band?
I have been in the band for about 8 months or so. I joined in like around March times. The band has been a very great experience. It has helped me a lot. Because when I joined, I did not know much about music, but I did dedicate myself to the marching band because I love music. Ever since I was small, all I ever did was look up to Escuela Secundaria Técnica Mexico. I'll always going to the Christmas parades and looking at them.
Okay, so that's why you selected the high school.
Because ever since I was small, I always said I will join that band one day, and well, now my dream is coming true, and I'm going everywhere with this band, and it has been great.
All right, and the experience in Honduras, what was it like taking part in a competition where you have other band groups who have so much experience at the end of the day?
In Honduras, it was very, how can I say it? It was very nerve-wracking because you're there,
As the enthusiasm for marching bands continues to grow in Belize, the success of the Ambassadors Marching Band serves as an inspiration for other bands hoping to make their mark on the international stage. The government of Belize is ramping up its preparedness efforts in response to the World Health Organization's recent declaration of Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, as a public health emergency of international concern. This alarming decision, made in August 2024, has prompted countries worldwide to bolster their health protocols to combat the spread of this contagious zoonotic disease. As of now, Belize has not reported any Mpox cases. However, health authorities are urging the public to remain vigilant In an interview with the media today, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, Director of Public Health and Wellness, outlined the plans the Ministry of Health and Wellness is implementing in case the disease reaches Belize.
With the Mpox situation in country, we have been able to sensitize our healthcare workers. We have been able to heighten our surveillance, so people coming in are being tested, and they're tested right in country. So we have that. We have built the capacity in our central medical lab staff and in our healthcare workers to take the samples, and the CML staff would go ahead and test. So we are following that very closely as well.
The symptoms of Mpox include fever, intense headaches, swollen lymph nodes, fatigue, and the eventual appearance of small blisters. Mpox is a zoonotic disease primarily transmitted from animals to humans. On October 11, 2024, the government of Belize, GOB, announced plans to overhaul the country's pharmaceutical laws, specifically the Food and Drug Registration, licensing and inspection regulations. This modernization effort aims to ensure the safety and efficacy of pharmaceutical products entering the country, reassuring citizens that they have access to reliable health services. The proposed changes come in light of increasing concerns over the quality and safety of pharmaceutical products available in Belize. Today, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, the Director of Public Health and Wellness, emphasized the urgent need for updated regulations, especially in a rapidly evolving global medical landscape.
Well, many of our regulations in health have been, they're very much outdated. There's nothing in essence that we can say is wrong with it, but we've got to ensure that we update our regulations in order to strengthen that governance aspect, that regulatory aspect that the Ministry of Health and Wellness should hold. So in order for us to regulate certain drugs and certain practices in health, we've got to ensure that we move with the times and that we update our regulations as well from a lot of these very antiquated old regulations from 1930s, 1920s, because a lot has changed and a lot has progressed in health. So we've got to move with the times. I'd just like to highlight that the Food and Drug Regulation does not only encompass the Ministry of Health, but it's a big regulation that talks about food generally as well. So we have removed the health part, and we went to Cabinet to ask Cabinet approval for us to do it. So the regulations have not been completed. We have only started to work on it. So this isn't something that you'll see a new Food and Drug Regulation next week. It's a process, and we have partners that come together to work to update it.
Who are those partners, and do you guys have a timeline for it?
Well, we have the Drug Inspectorate Unit. They are the main persons looking at it, but we also have the help from PAHO, and the Drug Inspectorate Unit will also involve stakeholders like the Pharmacy Association and the BMDA. We try to consult as much as possible before we finalize on any new regulations.
It's also for
The new regulation will not only focus on product safety, but also on improving the registration and inspection processes for drugs entering the Belizean market. In a proactive move to combat human papillomavirus, HPV infections, the Ministry of Health has ramped up its awareness campaign surrounding the risks, prevention, and available vaccination for this prevalent viral infection. HPV is known to cause a range of skin and mucous membrane growths, commonly referred to as warts, and can even lead to various types of cancer.
Yes, we have really vamped up. We have really tried to invest a lot in the health education unit, going out to businesses, going out to places where people would not normally come in to get tested. So we do fasting blood sugar, we do your body mass index, we have a nutritionist, we have the health educators, and we try to encourage people to come in to get tested. I had mentioned in my speech about the HPV testing that we're doing to try to eliminate cervical cancer. This is a disease that's preventable, and we must work towards getting as many women in the age range of 25 to 49 tested with an HPV swab.
There was also an introduction of the vaccine for this. Can you say if they are accessing it?
The HPV vaccine, this was introduced in 2016 or 2017, and the numbers, with the exception of the COVID times, the numbers are increasing and it is definitely improving. So that's something very positive for us.
Over 100 varieties of human papillomavirus, the infection's implications can vary widely. Certain strains cause common and genital warts, while others are linked to cancers such as cervical, anal, and oropharyngeal. Among the notable risk factors for HPV infections are the number of sexual partners an individual has, with increased risk correlating with multiple partners. Additionally, engaging in sexual activities with partners who have had numerous contacts raises transmission risk. Age is another significant factor. Common warts are mostly seen in children, while genital warts predominantly affect adolescents and young adults during their peak years of sexual activity. Moreover, individuals will weaken immune systems, such as those living with HIV/AIDS, face heightened vulnerability to HPV infections. Lastly, skin contact with an infected person's wart or exposure to contaminated surfaces without protection can also facilitate the spread of the virus. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
The latest Consumer Price Index CPI report issued yesterday, October 30th, by the Statistical Institute of Belize reveals that consumer prices in Belize soared by 2.6% in September 2024, with the capital city of Belmopan experiencing the steepest inflation rates. In contrast, Independence had the lowest inflation rate at just 0.2%, benefiting from below average increases. Issued on October 30th by the Statistical Institute of Belize, the report highlights significant price hikes in essential goods and services. Food and non-alcoholic beverages were the largest contributors to inflation, rising by 5.1%. Notable price hikes included fresh vegetables, which increased by 8.3%, and fruits like grapefruits and limes, which saw a rise of 15.7%. The restaurants and accommodation services category increased by 4.9%, while housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels rose by 1.4%, largely due to higher rental cost. The month-over-month inflation rate for September compared to August was a slight 0.2% increase, driven by 0.3% rise in the food and non-alcoholic beverages category, despite a 0.4% decrease in transport prices due to lower fuel cost. Year-to-date, inflation for the first 9 months of 2024 reached at 3.6%, with the rise primarily led by food and non-alcoholic beverages, which were up 6%, and restaurant and accommodation services, which rose by 8.8%. Other categories, such as housing, experienced a 2.3% increase, and personal care saw a rise of 4.8%, while information and communication experienced a decline of 1.8%. Data from the Statistical Institute of Belize, SIB, also shows that Consumer Confidence Index, CCI, fell to 38.9 in September 2024, marking a significant decrease of 10.9% from 43.6 in August. This decline represents the second consecutive month of decreasing confidence following a period of improvement. The CCI, which measures consumer sentiment regarding the economy and household financial situations, indicates that overall consumer optimism is waning. The drop in September was primarily driven by sharp declines in the durable goods and expectations components. Sentiments regarding durable goods fell by 34.5%, falling from 37.4 in August to 24.5 in September. This suggests a growing pessimism about making major purchases like homes and cars. The expectations component also decreased by 3.1% from 53.1 to 51.4, reflecting concerns about future financial situations and overall economic conditions. In contrast, the present sub-index saw a slight increase of 0.7%, rising from 40.5 to 40.7. This indicates a marginally improved perception of current financial situations compared to the previous year. The CCI serves as a vital indicator of future household spending and economic growth, and the latest figures suggest a cautious outlook among consumers in Belize. Tomorrow we take a look at the numbers for imports and exports. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, November 1st, here on CTV3 News and Faceta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.